A very warm good evening to you wherever watching us from across the country, and thank you for joining me for your favorite program, Business Tuesday, the program where we bring you the latest business news that took place across the country. First, let's take a look at the highlights. President Nyadwa describes China visit as a huge success. KRA to gain 50 billion from court cases against tax cheats. Kambogo Guba Bridge in Kisumu caves in following heavy rains. And Bungoma County commissions a project to expand and open roads in the county. Good evening to you and welcome to the program. Now we begin in Harare, where President Emerson Mnangagwa is back in Harare after a 5-day state visit to China. Mnangagwa has termed his Asian tour a success. During his visit, multiple trade agreements and deals were signed. He also met with the Chinese Premier Li Keqiang during the visit. It is now expected that cooperation and trade between the two countries will deepen and strengthen.
In the area of economic cooperation, we have since now he has escalated our relations from all-weather friendship status to the level of comprehensive strategic partnership and cooperation. This is the highest level which China has with other nations. So Zimbabwe has been elevated to that status. Obviously, when you have projects and they've been financed, guaranteed to be financed, it means there's progress. The ball is not anymore in the Chinese court. It is on our side to implement the projects which we have agreed on, because we've now been guaranteed the release of funding to those projects. So we're able, through the wisdom of His Excellency President Xi Jinping, to de-link the past with the present. No, the present is now being operated from a new page where all the projects which we presented have been agreed to and are going to be financed, whilst the old commitments by Zimbabwe to previous projects will be worked on, but separately, de-linked from the current process.
British soldiers learned to fight in Kenya in training sessions, culminating in a simulated assault involving over 1,000 troops. The size and scale of these British war games in Kenya is unusual. Only Suffield in Canada and the UK Salisbury Plain allow something similar. $50 billion shillings. That's the amount the Kenya Revenue Authority could gain if court cases it has instituted over the last 12 months against tax evaders could go its way. The taxman is now sharpening its focus on intelligence gathering and investing in manpower towards that end to enable it to seal the technological loopholes that survey but rogue traders are using to avoid paying tax.
For gym equipment.
Yeah, but what was found is assorted goods for commercial value, or some liquid vegetable oil.
In essence, 3 of us are watching the same track. So even if somebody sleeps, the other 2 are watching. We've been quite successful because over the last 1 year, we've been able to profile cases that we are now following through, where we suspect that tax in the region of about 50 billion has not been paid. You cannot tackle business crime, you cannot tackle tax fraud, tax evasion, without proper investment in intelligence. And that is why it has become a very, very primary focus for us. We already know that it is creating very, very, very significant apprehension out there, and even internally.
This truck must have lost transmission along the way, but it didn't bring any alert because there was no tampering. So what we need to do is to check that scene where it is exactly. We can have a look at it, just as we can check.
But would it then have shown the...
It is not. That is part of what we are enhancing the system. We want the system to show us when they lose the transmission, it should be able to bring an alert automatically.
Yes.
That's what we told the developer to enhance.
Now, from the Business Tuesday desk, we just want to urge all Kenyans to make it a habit of paying their taxes and also filing their returns. Now, moving on is that the Chief Administrative Secretary in the Ministry of Lands, Gideon Mungaro, has now said that the Ministry of Lands will roll out the digitalization program of the lands records across the country.
Digitize the Nairobi registry and central registry. This program will go all over Kenya. The next few months we'll be doing the surrounding suburbs of Nairobi, Kiambu, Kajiado, Machakos, Thika, Wiru. Then after that we will now have mastered the systems and we can go all over the registry. The ministry is aiming to have 2020 all land matters digital. And we want to have Kenyans for being patient in the closure of the Nairobi and central registry the last days. We get a lot of this next days in many registries when we start. In the coast already we have Mombasa, Kwale, Kilifi, all the 50% of the job is done. So we are going to be soon also embarking on this. Also the pilot programs in coast, for example, Kilifi, Mombasa, Kwale. So those ones also we expect not very well.
The Council of Governors Committee of Mining, Water and Forestry held a 3-day extractive forum in Malindi to discuss the role of county governments in enhancing the mining sector. Turkana Governor Josephat Nanok, who is also the council chairman, said that the forum, which aims at familiarizing themselves with the Mining Act, shall discuss issues pertaining 18 counties that have mineral resources. On his part, the Kilifi County Governor Amason Kingi said that the meeting will enable them to understand how the Mineral Acts work and also enable counties utilize resources for the benefit of the people.
Here to look at the Mining Act, the current Mining Act. The Mining Act is established to regulate minerals, solid minerals. I think you may be aware that in Parliament now we have two other related acts. One is on petroleum, that is looking at the liquid minerals, Petroleum Act, but also the Energy Act that is looking at regulating renewables, wind power, solar and all that. So we are basically here to come and to be taken through by experts to understand what is in the Act, what is in there for the counties, how do we work towards ensuring that the sharing formulas that are within the Act for minerals is being enacted by the ministry responsible, but also to understand what void is there in law that will enable individual counties to be able to develop county legislation specific to the type of minerals that is being mined from the county. I think on top of that is also to understand how we develop legislation to support small miners, local small miners, be able to survive much better in the face of big external miners that will be coming for these interests and that.
Now, moving on to some agricultural news is that despite numerous complaints by farmers on the shortage of fertilizer, the National Assembly Committee on Agriculture and Livestock was shocked to find fully packed stores at the National Cereals and Produce Board at the South Reef Depot in Nakuru. During a fact-finding mission, the committee led by their chair Adan Haji also made a tour at the Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Services in Lanet.
In the morning asking, what are we supposed to do? And if they are confused by them, what they should do, I think we can be able to change. I think that should be one recommendation so that we can be able to change that fast. I know many agriculture officers, they're in the ground. But up now I will tell you, hatujashikanisha mzuri, kufanya kazi mzuri kabisa na agriculture. Because you see them planting madizi, they don't know. Kuna mtu ameandikwa ya kazi gani? Ya kazi ya kumfunza. So I think we need to revive that.
There was a day to do to that night. So I had to call someone.
Yeah, in the NCC.
The NCC.
Operating at night.
So I called the manager of his premise, and I told him I want that if he's doing something which is good, he's supposed to be doing
June 8?
Yes. When everybody
So honorable members, all these things you see around here, this is made 2600.
Apart from the court system, are there regulations which says if you have given you've registered to a succeed merchant, these are the regulations you are required to operate within these guidelines?
Yes.
And if in the process you don't follow our guidelines, you stop the licensing, you withdraw the licensing or something like that?
There's also withdraw licenses. There's also the prosecution of companies.
We don't have to some action?
Yes.
And still sticking with the National Assembly committees is that the Committee on Lands is set to establish ownership of a 200-acre piece of land that is contention between an investor and 350 families in Mkomani, Kilifi County. The committee, led by Kitui South MP and Chairperson Dr. Rachel Nyamai, visited and held talks with residents at Mkomani, Vipingo during a public baraza.
We were dealing with the matter of Vipingo community land, which is a petition which has been presented to the National Assembly, and the Speaker obviously dedicated it to the Parliamentary Committee on Lands. And we were able to interact with the community. We listened to their stories, the way that they do not have a place to live. And we also were able to go through the documents, and we have seen the number of investors that we have in that area. So I can say that what we are doing now is that we are putting the information that we are receiving together. That is for Vipingo. And for today, we are here in Kilifi North. The matter at hand is of Mkomani village, which also has a long history. There are 300 families that live here. The acreage of the land that is in question is 198.5 acres. And this land seems to have changed hands between different investors. We have received the documentation showing the history, how this community has been trying, working with the governments, different governments, including the government of the day. So at the moment we can say that we are listening to the people's opinions. We have heard from the community members. We have seen for ourselves the way their houses are very squeezed. And we are aware that now the owner of this land has also written to the Ministry of Lands requesting that he wants to sell this piece of land at 500,000 per acre to government so that the people can be resettled. At the moment, we have not fully scrutinized the documents that have been presented to us.
The Kenya Maritime Authority is set to rehabilitate landing sites across Lake Victoria. The authority's head of commercial shipping, John Omingo, says the national government plans to rehabilitate landing sites across the Lake Victoria in a bid to improve inland water transport. The World Bank will help fund the docks that will be set up in 5 counties bordering the lake.
It's not good for us as a country. And as a Department of Environment, I've said it again and again that we are working on a plan on how to remove the people who are washing vehicles there. In fact, it is an emotive issue because it is both political, because if you don't have political goodwill, because I know most of the politicians will take it upon themselves to please the people. Us as the implementers of policies, we don't want to please anybody. We want to make sure that people do the correct thing. So we are asking the people who are washing the vehicles. We are not going to accept this, and we are designing methods and means of checking them out. We will be able to put in place measures to make sure that those who are washing the vehicles, we can be able to legally take them to a court of law, because it is a criminal offense to wash your car in the lake and actually pollute the lake. We use this water, we extract it for domestic use at Dunga extraction point. It increases the cost if it is over polluted, and that is not an issue we are taking lightly.
And on that note, Business Tuesday takes a short break. We'll be right back.